this button, and we click this button, and we click this button, and hey, everybody, we're live.
Hello. How's everybody doing today?
Hey, Joe. How are you today, man?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Good.
Sorry, we're having a little bit of a hard time. I was having a hard time getting online.
It's all good,
working out all that great. You got it fixed.
Hey, you know
Come
what?
here, Penelope.
The one thing you can always count on is technical difficulties.
Oh, you can always count on those. Yeah, that's definitely true. We figured that one out for sure.
You can always count on technical difficulties.
Hey, if it could have gone wrong on us, it has.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We could be standing next to a cell phone tower and not have service. Mm-hmm. You know, we're like, how's this work?
Yeah,
crazy.
That's just kind of how it works.
Oh, yeah.
That's just kind of how it works. So, what's happening with the OU game today?
Right now, Texas is up 24-17 with 10 minutes and 45 seconds in the third quarter.
Uh-oh.
So, it's been a game, though. You know what I mean?
They're going to have to pull
it out.
But,
man, OU's got really fast, real short. Their receivers, or their cornerbacks, are only about 6 foot tall. You know what I mean? And so, if you're listed at 6 foot in college football, you're 5'8". I mean, you're 5'10", maybe. You know what I mean? But Texas receivers, man, are like 6'5", 220. You know what I mean? That's a big athletic bird man. You know what I mean? And so they're having a little bit of a hard time with them just because they're so much bigger. You know what I mean? But everybody's holding together. All in all, OU's a better team, you know. But this OU Texas game, it would look like a championship game if both teams were horrible. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like Texas can have no win and play their best game against OU just because of the rivalry, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So, you know, OU's going to pull it out. I'm not worried about that, but it's just been a game though, you know. And most of the games OU had this season have been pretty. Like last week, we won 66-33. A couple weeks before, we had the third string in. I mean, they scored almost 70 points on them. I mean, you know what I mean? They've been scoring 10 touchdowns a game.
Sweet.
So that's fun, but at the same time, if you really like watching football, you want to see a game. You know what I mean? You don't want to just see somebody dribbling off with it. You know what I mean? But this is always a hell of a game. It's a Red River shootout.
Well, that's good. I mean, you know, you want people to be excited and to have a good time. So it's kind of like NASCAR. When you watch NASCAR, if there's not at least one accident, I mean, a really good accident, it wasn't a good, you know, it wasn't a good day at NASCAR.
That's true. They weren't trying very hard. You know, Chris Robin is racing.
And I hate that, but, you know.
Robin is racing.
I don't want anybody to get hurt, but I do want to see a car fly apart. Right?
That's true. Hey, it's the wrecks where people get hurt real bad that don't look like bad wrecks. The bad wrecks, everybody's usually okay. Like when Earnhardt passed, you know what I mean? That wasn't. You know, he wasn't airborne and flipping. Mm-hmm. No, it's just the way it worked, man. It broke his neck, you know. But now they've got the things where their helmets actually strap in, so they can't get whiplash. They can't hit so hard of something that, you know, just your neck's really not that strong. You know what I mean? It's like you ever see those ambulance chaser commercials, those, you know, injury attorneys, and they're like, but they're right. Look, if the bumper on your car got bent, what do you think happened to your neck?
Right.
You know, it's like, this is stupid. You know, it's like, yeah, you're probably, yeah. I mean, I've been head on collision. I've almost rolled cars. I've fallen asleep at the wheel and hit things. I've been in everybody. Yeah. I've been T-boned in cars, you know. Boom. Somebody hit me doing 50 in the door one time in a Camaro. I was in the Camaro. Yeah. But the worst I've ever hurt from a wreck, other than the head-on collision when I had a concussion and it broke my nose and stuff, was whiplash from somebody. I was in a big old Cadillac, and somebody boom, plowed in the back of me. And I was like, oh, you know, and it didn't hurt at first. And then it was like, oh, damn, this does hurt. You know,
it does hurt.
It's not fun.
I know, right? So today,
I've wrecked everything. I wrecked motorcycle.
Today is the day after the storm, so you know, it's kind of quiet. It's a pretty day today. You know, your mind is more at ease. Things that irritated you yesterday, like this, now are you know, don't exist. So that's a good thing.
Right.
we're going to actually. Doesn't bother me.
Okay.
So we're gonna actually talk a little bit about crypto today and where crypto may be going. So there's a lot of people in the know that are talking about another run coming. And good morning, Sharon. Another run coming on Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin itself taking a run. So, I'm not a financial advisor, and I didn't predict that, but I do know that they're talking about it, and I do know that's the whisper on the ground. So let's look for it. Let's watch and see. And see, here's what I like to do. When people talk about stuff like that, then I like to actually watch the bounce of the charts and the lines and stuff so that I can learn to predict these things for myself better. So for me, it's an exciting time because you get to learn, and if you're not learning, then you're just really not doing a whole lot for yourself, right?
You're just kind of sitting there wasting time. It's kind of weird too, because I've told you about, the buddy of mine that is doing the trading on his own and everything, which is good, but he doesn't really know what he's doing. Right. I mean, he does. He's educated himself pretty well, about as well as you can, without knowing some of the intricate little details of it, like the little pieces that make a big, big difference, or having your ear to the grindstone, whatever they call it. You know what I mean? And catching those things where like, oh, so-and-so's talking about that. So, the reading between the lines stuff. And, he's like, I'll look at the charts and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, do you know what you're reading? And he's like, well, no, I don't know.
Not really.
I was like, well, when everything crosses, that something's getting ready to happen. Oh, so it's going to jump up then? Well, not necessarily. No, it could plummet. It's just the way it works, and well, why is that? It's the mathematics of things is what it is. Absolutely. And it really breaks down to that. It is, and that's the thing. You can know just enough to get yourself, you can know enough to make a little bit of money. You know what I mean? You can make some money. You can damn sure get lucky. Getting lucky is the best thing in the world, but sorry, the dog just hit the mouse. Are we still good?
Yeah, we're good.
Penelope's on my desk, so she's.
No, it's all good.
Okay, cool. But
she's looking for her little ball.
But then you can also know just enough to get yourself in a whole lot of trouble, Agreed. And like what he's doing is he's made a little money here, a little money there, lost some money there, but he's still up. You know what I mean? So he basically walked to the casino with couple $100, and he's won some, he's lost some, but he's still up. He's still got his few hundred. You know what I mean? And he's sold this and bought that, tried to make up.
He's having fun.
And it's like you need to. Yeah, he's having fun. But I was like, man, if you come by, just come by the house, man. I will show you what you really need to know, because there's a lot more to this. It's real simple, but there's a lot to it. You know what I mean? It's not as difficult as people say if you know the simple steps.
Right.
But it's like they say, you can know just enough to get yourself in a whole world of trouble. There's a baby girl. Say hi, baby girl.
I know, right?
Say hi,
baby girl.
Say hi to everybody.
So yesterday.
Say hi to the world.
Yesterday, I was talking to my buddy on the phone, and I had you on Zoom, and I had him on the phone, and he was talking about.
Are we talking about swing trading?
Yeah, he was talking about the people that he's working with, right? Like they're actually not looking for the 100% return, the 50% return, even the 20% return, although they really like those, right? But they're looking for the, the 2, 3, 4, 5, 10% returns consistently on a daily basis, where they're actually trading, they're putting fiat into coin in the morning, and then they're taking coin and putting it back into fiat at night. And so, if they're up a few percent average per day, at the end of the month, that equals a pretty good percentage. And so I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Well, yeah, you get your 60% up a month if you did 2% a day. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, it's just real simple. And people don't think. Well, and that's the thing, too, is if you look at it, we have a tendency to look at it in a microcosm, in a micro way. And if you look at it in a macro, then you go, oh, wait, I made 2% here, and I made 4% here, and I made, I made 2% on this 50 or 2% on this 100, and I made 3% on that 50, and blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, you got $1,000 in there to play with. And when you get a real good hunch, you can take that 1,000 and stick it on something. You know what I mean? And then be, oh, fuck. Sorry. I just made, sorry, guys. It's that bar light comes out sometimes.
You know that,
but I just made 5
3-second delay is bad. Beep.
I'm telling you, sorry. Maybe that's why it's there. I'm sorry, guys. That wasn't like I read something one time, and it wasn't all that long ago, and it said that people that use curse words, like,
yes,
they don't use them because, like, let's say the F word has so many different connotations to it and meanings that it's ridiculous. You know what they're saying? That people that use that, the way they use it, if they're not just somebody cussing, you know, if it's not F you or, but there's so many ways to even say that to people that you know, like, oh, you know what I mean? That's one thing, or yeah. You know, I mean, it's all in the way you do it, and it's like you make a lot of use out of one word.
Yeah,
you know, it's one of the most useful words on the planet, actually. You know, and it's fornicate under consent of king. You know what I mean? And the where it came from actually was used to when you got married. You know, and there were kings in places. I'm pretty sure this was England, but you had to ask permission to be the first one to sleep with your wife from the king. That's what it is. You know. So that's how it became that dirty word. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, because he had first dibs. Because it's his kingdom. And you're like, wow, dude, that's rough. But it's true, though.
You know, and I
you can't change history, guys. Sorry, I'm just repeating it.
You know, I think people really
nobody thinks about it. You know?
That whole history lesson, and we really don't go there often enough in our minds to remind ourselves to keep it fresh. No, so
we really don't.
You know, but yeah, exactly. We were talking about percentages and smaller percentages, and you know, what my buddy was telling me was like, you know, Chris, you just don't look so much at the daily. What you want to do is look and make sure that you're up for the day. So if it's 1% or 5%, it doesn't matter. And then at the end of the month, what you really want to do is you want to see how much you grew, you know, your seed, how much you grew your seed over 30 days. He said, where most people mess up, and I thought this was great because I had never really thought about it like this, but he said, you know, where most people mess up is they only see the smaller return, you know, the 1, 2, 3%. And so then they stop. They're not consistent. They don't do it consistently on a daily basis. He said, if you grew 3% today, why would you not want to grow 3% tomorrow? That makes perfect sense. But most people are not there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, stocks don't grow like that. I mean, if you got a 3% growth in a stock, that's incredible. If your stockbroker gets you 3% return, he's good. I mean, really, that's just, you know, especially when you're dealing with your major stocks that you buy, all your big 500, your S&P 500s, your, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's a good return. You know, hey, you made, you know, $3 on my 100. That's, you know, for doing nothing. And that's kind of why you have to look at it too. Is you're the one trading, so you're doing the work. You know, but if you can take yourself out of it, you know what I mean? Quit thinking me for a second. You want to be like, okay, I've got $100 of somebody's money. I'm going to make them some money, and they're not doing anything right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So trading really is, it's passive income when someone else does it for you. But when you do it for yourself, you don't have to pay them a fee. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so kind of look at it like if that's what you're doing for a living, like, I'm sorry, guys, but I can sit in this chair 18 hours a day, and I do get tired. You know what I mean? But it's not like bartending for 16. You know what I mean? Or it's not like going and building a house. You know what I mean? Or, you know, tearing a kitchen out and putting a new one in. And I guarantee tearing a kitchen out is a whole lot harder than you think in these old homes.
Or learning how to build.
Yeah, learning how to build a bathroom because you said, yeah, I can do it. Yeah. Hey, you know what I did though? I went to garage sales and I went to secondhand stores, you know, thrift shops, and I started buying all these books, like how-to books and old ones. You know what I mean? Because the old ones really teach you how to build stuff. Like they really, really do. Like stuff from like the 50s and 60s. It shows real construction, and there's not all the crazy tools. You know, you got like one drill maybe, or they got like the hand drills, and you're like, well, boom. So if you think about it like that, and you're doing all this stuff with a hand drill, and you don't have a wood planer and you're doing it by hand or whatever, you know what I mean? And you don't have a nail gun, and then all of a sudden you got it, man, stuff's easy. You go, right. I got it made, you know, and I didn't know how to do any of that stuff for the most part. I mean, I had a good idea of it, you know, but really putting things together structurally and everything. And I got books and read, you know what I mean? That's what I did. I watched stuff on YouTube, and I turned it into a pretty lucrative little career for a little bit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Really did. You know,
how-to books and DIY
it's not
books
what you know, it's what
you can YouTube. You know,
yeah, there were. Really yeah, I mean, I really have a bookshelf here in my living room under my TV. You know, like I got the bookshelf under the TV, so that's like my research center. You know what I mean? Because I got YouTube going and I got the book. I'm like, okay. You know,
absolutely.
And you can teach yourself anything. You know, the thing is, you can learn anything on the planet. All the information's out there right now. You know, and that's why we're in such an interesting time in history, because the knowledge that is out there for us to gain and to go get just because we want it, and it's free, guys. You know what I mean? Well, fantastic. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of knowledge, do all kinds of things to enrich your life. And all these things that you know, they help in sales too, because there are more conversations you can have with more people. Right. You know what I mean? A guy can come in and talk about remodeling his bathroom, and I can talk to him. You know what I mean? You can talk about cars. I can talk about it because, you know, I didn't have the money when I was young to just take my car to the shop to get fixed. You know what I mean? So I had to learn how to do everything. I had to learn. So, you know, boom, boom, boom. You're like, well, I got tired of doing this with a wrench. I'm buying me a socket set. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, now I'm getting me an impact. I'm going to get me an electric impact first. And then you're like, oh, man, I got a compressor, so now I can get me air tools. You know what I mean? I can build anything with what's in my garage. You know what I mean? Honestly. But I don't have a welder or cutting torch.
Can you remember when a Crescent Wrench was a great tool? You know? It's like I was so excited when I learned how to use the Crescent Wrench and get it just right, you know. And
I'm telling you, you can do anything with a Crescent Wrench. Most versatile tool on the planet. It's better than a hammer because it is a hammer. Yeah.
Make sure it's a craftsman.
And it's great for like when your starter's binding up, smack your starter with. When you get in the car, smack the starter so it frees up and starts. Oh, man. That's great.
Make sure it's a craftsman, though, if you're going to use it as a hammer, okay?
Yeah, it's better be a craftsman. Yeah.
Those other ones, the wheels pop out pretty quick. I learned from experience.
Yeah. Man, I bought an old one. It's about this big. Yeah. It's all rusted and everything, but they don't actually rust. They just turn that brown color. It's like, oh, it's rusted and broke. Oh, it's not. It's wool on it. Well, I bought one. I think it was $1, and it's worth more than $1 in steel. You know what I mean? At a garage sale one time, it was bound up, you know, and so I took it apart because it's just got a screw that comes out, and you can free it up and everything. It's a great. And I got a Crescent Wrench that big. You know what I mean? So that's what 18 inches about for $1, and that's a $40 tool. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that thing's already 50 years old. So I'm going to have it the rest of my life unless I throw it at something and it's too heavy to throw.
Now, if you use that one for a hammer,
I actually
you only
used
have
it the
to hit
other day.
It twice.
Yeah, you only got to hit it twice. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it weighs 3 pounds. But, you know, I used a Crescent Wrench the other day when John, my buddy, he's always bringing his Mercedes by for me to look at. And apparently I'm almost a Mercedes mechanic.
Apparently.
Now, at this point, which I didn't know. But he's like, you know, people get paid like $90 an hour to do this? And I'm laying under his car going, and I'm changing the fuel filter for him, which you got to take stuff off, shields off, and crap like that. It's not a real hard job, but you know, it was 10 minutes. But I was using my Crescent Wrench, you know. But he's telling me, you know, at the shop, it's at least $90 an hour. That's what they get paid. No, that's what the mechanics get paid, not what you're getting charged. Well, I got gasoline dripping in my face. And I'm like, really? Like, did you really just tell me this?
You should have kept that to yourself, bro.
It's like, man. Yeah. I put shocks on the thing for him one time. I've changed the brakes on it. You know, and I was like, huh. He's like, you just saved me about $900 at least. I'm like,
well, thanks.
Can I have $50? You
want to share the wealth?
Yeah. Well, he's my employee too, though, so I don't know. I don't want to pay him for
it. See?
But, you know, that harkens back to that integrity thing too, though. You know, it goes back to that integrity conversation we had the other day. You know what I mean? Do you think that guy's ever going to steal from me? You know what I mean? I've saved him thousands and thousands of dollars that he didn't have to spend on his vehicle. You know what I mean?
Just being a friend.
And, you know, I don't want nothing out of it. I'm like, man, go get it. I don't even say get me a 6-pack or anything like that because I get 6-packs cheaper than everybody. I mean, because of the bar. I mean, and I'm not a big beer drinker myself, but it's one of those things. But I like doing stuff. Oh, talked to my brother last night. He called out of the blue, and
nice.
He does all right. Like he's got him a pretty good job, construction job and shit, and he's like, man, is your motor still messed up in your truck? I was like, yeah. He's like, man, you want me to bring you one? I was like, what? Because he's on a kick of buying Chevy pickups right now.
Oh, nice.
And he lives in a city, so you can find Chevy pickups for $500 all over the place. And he's like, hey, man, it's got $500 worth of taillights on them usually. Or just stuff. You know what I mean? And he uses work trucks all the time, so it's like, I got another shop truck now. All I had to do was insure it and do something little. But he works on stuff, you know what I mean? So he's like, man, I was like, well, how are you going to get a motor down here, man? I can't come get it. I can't load it in one of my SUVs. I'm not loading a motor in my SUV or anything. It's not a big SUV. It's a 4-wheel drive.
Come on, you're not that redneck.
The Mitsubishi Montero don't need it. Man, I don't need to put a 350 motor in the back. I don't need a motor in the back of the car that weighs more than the front. You know what I'm saying? These are cast iron blocks, buddy. They're not. I don't think it's rated to carry that. But
probably not.
And he's like, well, man, I'm getting a record. I was like, what are you getting a record for? Well, there was one up at the junkyard, and it was for sale. I was like, so you bought it? I'm going back to buy it. I got busy that day on a job. So I was like, what were you doing at the junkyard? Oh, I ended up drunk in one of those trucks that I bought. I was like, oh, okay. But I forget how easy it is to get stuff when you live in populous areas. You know what I mean? That there's stuff everywhere. You know what I mean? Like there's always something for sale for $500. You know what I mean? And if you got $500, you got a lot of money. I'm not saying you got a lot of money, but you have buying power. Here, $500 is not buying power at all. Because they're like, no, I'm not selling that truck. You're like, why? I want $1,500 for it. And you're like, but it doesn't have wheels or a motor. You're like, oh, I know.
It's just sitting there.
Yeah. Like it's a planter in your yard. It's like, man.
Hey, Joe. What they need to do
is so I guess I'm getting a
real
motor.
Good heavy tarp, right? And put it in the back of the truck, and then just fill it up with water, and they got themselves a redneck pool.
Make a pool. I'm telling you, hey man, you can have a mobile redneck pool, buddy.
Right.
Put you some American flags up there, and like a "Don't Tread on Me" flag.
It's already got the holes for the flags. Just stick them in.
Need like one of those. Hank Jr. for president. Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I
always said if I ever made millions of dollars.
Go ahead. So what are you going to do with the millions and millions of dollars?
I always said if I ever made millions and millions of dollars, like won the lottery. Like I won the lottery, so I'm buying into like a $10 million neighborhood, right? It's all gated and everything. I said the first thing I'm doing is going and buying brand new cars and some concrete blocks. I'm taking the wheels and tires off of them. I'm setting damn brand new cars in my yard on blocks just to piss off the neighbors. I think it'd be hilarious. A Bentley on blocks in my yard? Like what? You don't even got a Bentley. I got one on blocks.
Right.
It would be hilarious.
I'm keeping the miles off
out of a Lamborghini.
Look, I'm keeping the miles off.
Yeah, I'm keeping the miles off. I don't want the rubber
spots on the tires. That's it. Exactly. So yesterday we were talking a little bit, and we were talking about reaching out and helping other people. I kind of want to touch on that subject a little bit more today, again, and we'll probably touch on that subject repeatedly from this point forward because we're kind of adopting that attitude. We're adopting that philosophy in business and in life. And we want to make sure that, that's like, I got hit this morning with I drew a blank. I was listening to you about the Bentley on blocks, and I drew a blank. I got a post. That's what it was on my Facebook, and no worries. It's just it's just a shiny squirrel out there. And this person responded to something that I posted on Facebook. And the response, you could feel the pain in the response. Mm-hmm. You could feel the pain in their life just reading the words that they wrote. And so, I took the time. I started not to. I'm just going to be honest. I started not to respond because I was like, you know, I don't want to feed into anything negative. And so I sat there for a minute. I read it, and I read it again. And then I responded. And of course, I wrote a half a book, right, on my response. But basically, what I did was I turned that negativity. And it wasn't like they were saying, you know, all dogs are bad. It wasn't negative like that. It was negative in the fact that, you know, apparently this person is going through a rough spot in their life, and they're in a storm, and they don't really know where to turn. And you know they're feeling as if though they know that there's power and they know that there's help out there, but they don't really know where to turn. And so I just kind of, you know, I started affirmation response. So I said, I just need you to know that this storm will pass. I need you to know that you're going to be better. I need you to know that you're going to be great in business and in life. I need you to know, you know, and I just kept going and kept going and kept going. And my post turned out fairly long, but when I finished writing the post, I was like, Jesus, this was subconscious, because yesterday we were just talking about this, and here it is on my Facebook post, and now I'm doing it. And, you know, I got the impression, or I get the impression a lot from people, that they want to help people, but they don't know how. Okay, so they think they have to go to school or to college or whatever, and they have to have this degree, and they have to have millions and millions and millions of dollars to help other people. You know what? Start where you're at. Okay, and if all you can offer is an encouraging word and a shoulder to lean on and an ear to listen, that's okay. That's perfect. Okay, because that can make the difference in someone's life, from being tragic to being worth living. And so, you know, I want to encourage everyone to watch their Facebook posts a little closer, and you know, be acutely aware of the fact that, you know, people connect with you for a reason, and you don't always know what that reason is, and you don't really even have to know what that reason is, right? It's immaterial. You connect with someone, and that's all that matters. So if they took the time to share with you on, you know, on Facebook, or send you a message or a text or whatever, even an email or a letter in the mail, and tell you that they're, you know, that they're not feeling good, that they're not in a good place, that things aren't the way they would love for them to be, you know, it doesn't take a lot of time. It was less than 5 minutes, y'all. Less than 5 minutes, and I was very uplifting, and I felt great when it was done. So it goes back to that, you know, selfishness that we were talking about yesterday, Joe, about, you know, helping other people. We do it because we're selfish. And I found a whole new way of being selfish. And I'm like, whoa, this is good, you know. And it set me on fire, and I put some good music on. And I apologize for my appearance today, because I have been processing meat. I've been cleaning house. I've been doing laundry. I've been building my business. I've been supporting people online. You know, so today has been just, you know, one of those days. It's Saturday, and it's fall here, and I don't know why, and maybe someone out there can tell me why this is, but when fall comes and spring comes, I get the feeling that I need to just like wash my whole house, you know? Like, I want to wash the walls and the ceilings and the ceiling fans and all the light fixtures, and, you know, I want it all clean. I don't know why. It's just something that I do. I think I got it from my mom and my grandma.
You want to come visit?
To do that. They used to do that, you know, and I guess they handed it down.
You can open the house up comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's true.
In summer, so you're not, you know, baking. It's not winter, so you can have the windows open. You know what I mean? So you can get everything moving, get free air in. You know, we're just now getting where our night temperatures and our morning and night temperatures are where the windows could really be open. You know, I mean, I take, we don't have an attic fan, but I'll tell you what, that's the dumbest thing in new construction that they've started leaving out, and they have for about the past 15, 20 years. They quit putting attic fans in houses. An attic fan will save you so much money. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It could be 75 outside. You'll have your air conditioner on when all you need to do is open the damn windows. You know, if you have an attic fan. You know, but I don't have an attic fan. But my bathroom backs, like the main house, the main bathroom, you know, it's kind of like down the hallway and right off to the side. You know what I mean? But there's a window right there. There's a bathroom window, like a full-size window, but it goes out and then I have a patio out there that overlooks the valley, you know. But I open that window up, and I've got one of those like round metal cage fans like this, but like the commercial versions. You know what I mean? About that thick. You know what I mean? And I sit it in that window, and I open everything else up, and man, my whole house gets a draft going. You know, I mean, you can sit here and wind. I can feel wind being pulled in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's the same essential idea as an attic fan. You know what I mean? It's just they're hitting one so to kind of not really create something, but just hey, open the window and put a fan in it blowing out. Because everybody blows stuff in. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you don't need to do that. If you have one exhaust is going to pull everything else. You know? But who knows? But I'll tell you what, man, that's great. And you get that crisp air. And like I'm up here in the mountains, so I get nice mountain air. You know what I mean? And it's clean. You know, you're like, oh, you know what I mean? We have well water. You can have the wells here you can drink out of. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's still good water, you know. And even our city water, actually, well, I mean, it's not, which I would guess all water in a city is well at some point.
Yeah.
I would think.
Well, no. Now, I lived in a town
where the hell else
called
do you get water?
Lincoln.
Well, unless you have a reservoir.
I lived in a town called Lincoln, and they got theirs from a little river stream, you know, and they dammed it up, and then, of course,
from river stream. Okay.
Water treatment plant. Yes.
Yep. Well, we always used to have, here they always had spring water because there's so many springs. That's why it's called Eureka Spring. But now they've had to drill to get it. And like we have a reservoir, but it's like a little lake, you know?
Right.
But I don't think that's where the water comes from anymore. At some point it did, but it doesn't anymore. You know?
Yeah, I doubt it.
And I'm pretty sure it doesn't because it looks like the dam's about to break on it. So, you know, like they're not even upkeeping it very well, which is stupid.
That's not good.
Oh, well.
That's not good at all.
No.
So, you know,
a dam shouldn't have like water streams coming out of it with rocks. It's bad news, guys.
So, you know, I guess the whole moral to my post story was, you know, that I was enjoying my day and I found a new way to help someone else, right? And that is a beautiful thing to me. And I guess I've always known it, you know, but I wasn't using it. So because I wasn't using it, that means that, you know, it is what it is, right? And yeah, so now I'm using it, and I'm glad because you know what? It could make a huge difference, a huge difference in someone else's life. So I just wanted to point that out and kind of reiterate that because we were talking about it yesterday, and then, you know, today it manifested. So, you know, be careful what you speak because your manifestations are yours, and they do come from, you know, our own mentality as well as make it stop, son. Just make it stop. So, yeah. And it's all, make it stop.
Wait, no. Whoops.
Get out of the camera. Tell her I'm on the phone. Jerry, tell her I'm on the phone and your daddy's in the bathroom. Lord have mercy, I swear. See, this is dadpreneuring at its best, y'all. It is what it is. It's okay.
Exactly.
You know? We just kind of laugh.
And everybody that's out there listening, okay, if you see me and Chris actually turn around and yell at our kids, because we've already hand signaled them like 15 times, they know exactly what we're saying. You know, we're like, quit it, don't go away. And then it's time, move it.
They get a little bit slow every once in a while.
Like right now, see, she's back there. It's like they got too much wax in their ears.
I know, right? So, it looks like there's something that needs my attention. So,
okay, you get off here, buddy. Okay, bye.
Yes. So we love you guys. We thank you guys for coming. We'll see you on Monday, right?
Oh, hey, Patty, Sharon. Hey, guys, call me. I think I have a solution for your Hawaii Bitcoin problem. I'm pretty sure.
And
so
and I'm glad that was brought up. I also want to say that we are looking into that. Each state has a couple of little things that may or may not need to be cleared. We're clear to have the ATMs in all 50 states, but each state has a little bit of a regulation one way or the other. So we're checking into that for you guys to make sure that everything is clear. And then we'll talk about getting you guys an ATM out there. So we love you and we thank you, and I'll be talking to you very soon. Thanks. Say bye, Joe.
Bye, everybody. Have fun. Later.